2021 Mercedes-Benz GLE, carryover model from last year. 2020 was the big year for change with it. So I have the 350. We'll talk about that primarily. We'll touch on the 450 a little bit during the engine / driving dynamics aspect of it. Then we'll do the, let's say, outside, then we'll do the inside and wrap up the review. So under the hood here of the 350 is a 2-liter turbo 4, and you get 255 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque, all through a 9-speed automatic transmission, and it's got Mercedes-Benz's 4MATIC / all-wheel drive system. If you want more power, jump up to the 450, and that gets you a 3-liter inline 6, and your power figures are 362 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. So with the driving dynamics, I will say that in a very random yet wonderful stroke of good luck, Mercedes-Benz Canada had equipped this with the tow package. And you're like, well, that's fine, Jay, but oh.
How can I help?
Cancel. This does have the MBUX system, so whenever you say the M word, the voice assistant kicks in. Anyways, let's carry on. So this has the tow package from the factory, and a good friend of mine needed help towing his camper from Burlington to Niagara Falls and back. And I'm like, this is before I had a chance to look at the spec sheet, and I did. And I'm like, oh, Jeff, unreal. Like, this actually has a tow package. So even with a 2-liter turbo 4, and I know the power figures don't look like a lot on paper. Again, 255 horse, 273 torque, pulling a 2,500 pound camper. I knew the 350 would do it. I didn't know it would be so effortless for it to do it. Now, tow rating here is 3,500 pounds, so we definitely had a lot of room to spare. You know, it's not like it was a 3,400 pound camper we were pulling around. It was, again, 2,500 pounds. And the 350 did it so easily, and it was so easy to hook up. And thanks to the optional 360 cam, which I definitely recommend, between that and the high-res backup camera, it was so easy to just back up. There wasn't anybody spotting around the rear saying, okay, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, slow down, speed up, or whatever it is. It's surprisingly more powerful than you'd think for what you see on the spec sheet as far as power figures go. Lots of brisk acceleration. No, it's not even a word. Lots of brisk acceleration. Sorry, my mind was going a little too fast for my mouth. And it's both in a straight line as well as around twists and turns and bends on the road. Let's just do a quick example. And I've started to do this in most of my videos, and let's just keep going along. So I'm in regular comfort mode, no launch control, nothing, just as is. I'll wait for that car to pass, take a look at the pole, nothing is moving. I'm gonna go foot down right now. And there's 60. So it's not gonna win any races, but considering that it's a mid-size SUV and it's fairly heavy, yeah, the turbo takes maybe a second to spool up, but when you get going, you get going. Lots of passing power, lots of mid-range power. Now it does fizzle out a bit once you hit maybe 110, 120, and that's where the advantage of the 450 comes in with the 3-liter inline 6. But I'm pleasantly surprised at just how much power the 350 has. Eco, comfort, sport, and individual as far as drive modes. Doing the towing of the camper, I had it set to, there's also off-road. I had it set to comfort. City driving for me was in eco, and I opened it up a little bit with the sport function. Sport really just makes it feel just, I don't want to say extra good, that's just a really poor choice of words, but it creates a nice spirited drive. I think that's a much better choice of words than extra good. I think most people will live in the world of comfort. If you're looking to save fuel on a longer road trip, sure, dump it into eco. You might miss out on a bit of the performance, but it depends on what you want. Stopping power is really good too. Again, I'm referencing that to the size of the vehicle. It does stop fairly quickly, not quite like on a dime. But again, it's always consider the class of vehicle before you take into account how fast is it, how quick is it off the line, what's the stopping power, what's the turning feel and style like. Being a Mercedes-Benz, it's a very smooth and comfortable ride. It does really good at cruising speeds, 105, 110, 115 on the highway. Relatively quiet, so not a lot of engine noise bleeding in. Now, if you do find it to be a little noisy if you test drive the 350, I would strongly suggest you opt for the upgraded Burmeister sound system. That is part of an upgraded package. I believe that is the premium package, and you get park assist with that, as well as the 360 cams. So you kind of get the 2-for-1 thing there. Let's talk about the outside. So again, it's a carryover model from last year. Really good looks. It's not too beefy. It's not too brawny. Yes, it has some muscular sides to it, but it's a conservative design, I find, and I like that. And I know I've mentioned it so many times before, but for me, let the non-luxury brands play around with all the sharp creases and bends in the sheet metal and doing funky and innovative designs. And I like my luxury vehicles, specifically the SUVs, to have more of a minimalistic design and give me more on the inside as far as bells, whistles, and features go. This does have the upgraded 20-inch AMG wheels, which I really, really like, and that is part of the, the Sport package, I believe, $1,500. I love the look of the AMG rims. I believe the last 3 cars I've had the GLA and the GLB, and Mercedes-Benz Canada has spec'd it. Oh, here it comes. Maybe? There it is.
How may I help you?
Cancel, please. Anyway, so the last 3 models I've had have had the upgraded rims, and it's a clean look, it's a classic look. I like it. I think it looks really sharp. Let's flip to the inside. So, typical Mercedes, it's completely dolled up with all the luxurious features, lots of soft touch materials. I generally don't like wood finishes on the inside of vehicles, but Mercedes has done this with really, really dark.
How can I help?
Cancel, please. I gotta think of a code word to say instead of the M word, but anyways. I like that it's black wood or nearly black wood, so it fits in really nicely. You get the 4 vents just below the large infotainment system. Not a big fan of the touchpad. I just find it a little too delicate for me to operate. I want hard touch buttons. I want something tactile. I don't want to kind of be fishing around with a touchpad. That's just me. But thankfully, this is a touch screen, so I didn't have any problems. And it's the one long piece here. Yes, there are 2 different screens, but you get the full digital dash. And in typical Mercedes, oops. Okay, didn't catch it. In typical M fashion, it looks sharp. You can change the different themes. You get a wealth of information all throughout. This does have the optional heads-up display. Really, really big screen for the heads-up display and lots of information. Steering wheel, same thing, typical Mercedes-Benz. Very, very comfortable. Not a full Irk, it's more of a sharper learning curve. The 2 black squares on either side of the wheel. The one on the right side controls your infotainment system, or actually the whole screen. But when I'm on my what's it called? My Spotify, the little black square controls my tracks going forward. And I just find you've got to train yourself to find that right amount of pressure to put on to go to the next track. And sometimes if you're too light, it doesn't go. Sometimes if it's too heavy with your touch, it'll skip 3 songs at once. So it's a bit of a learning curve, not a deal breaker for me. And the left square takes care of everything that you see in your infotainment system, from consumption to tire pressure to all those things. Seats very comfortable. You do get the thigh extender here. I will do a quick cutaway to the seat functions right now. Headrests go 4 ways. Big perk for me there, because we're not all the same shape or size, and we all like different things as far as comfort goes. Lots of space in the center console. Rear seats, pretty comfortable. I know that the middle person may not get as much comfort as your outboard passengers in the rear seats, but you can put 3 adults fairly comfortably for a bit of a longer trip. Tons of cargo space back there, both with the seats up and the seats down. So the functionality of the GLE definitely there. Do a quick touch on fuel consumption before we wrap up the video. So in liters per 100 kilometers, the Government of Canada rates us at 12.4 on city streets, and even 9.0 on the highway, and 10.8 as a combined measure. It's an 85-liter fuel tank, and you got to put at least 91 octane according to Mercedes-Benz I've done 864 kilometers on the dot. I've got another 40-ish left in the day, and I'm at 12.2. So the reason I think and I feel the reason I'm above is because of this 864, I'd say maybe 225 of it, and that's the round trip Niagara Falls to Burlington, Niagara Falls, and then Niagara Falls, Burlington, towing the trailer. Obviously, if you're towing something 2,500 pounds, your fuel consumption is going to suffer a little bit. There's a lot to offer here, and I think that we'll end up seeing a lot more of these. And yes, there's the 350, which is this. There's the 450, there's the AMG 53, and then there's the AMG 63. So if you want a lot more power, jump into the AMG world of the GLEs. But if you're doing regular everyday driving and you do want to tow, I think the GLE 350 does more than an adequate job. It does it very well. That's going to wrap it up for the 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLE 350. If you've got any questions on the vehicle, let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to get you answers as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate the support, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you think there's somebody who's interested in what I do, feel free to suggest the channel to them. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. And until I see you again, be well, be healthy, be safe.